Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk legacies. The three-peat possibility is here. It's the first time it's ever happened. And honestly, we get to experience it, be a part of it. And it's none other than your team, the Kansas City Chiefs. Those are the guys that have the chance to hit the three-peat. Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, Travis Kelce, the whole crew, Chris Jones. There's just star talent everywhere on this field. We're going to talk about the Kansas City Chiefs. Let's break it down. And let's start off with El Numero Uno, which is Patrick Mahomes, the man of the hour, the guy who finds wins where wins shouldn't be found, the guy who also pads the pockets of the refs. I'm kidding. It was a joke. I had to go there. But again,
I just hope the payment went through.
My Venmo's not working, guys.
He told me it was descended to this one.
Dude, the so funny, man. All the little spoofs that are coming off with like, I saw this one guy, there was this video he did, and he gets this new package in the mail, and he's like, just ordered my new Kansas City Chiefs jersey. He pulls it out, and so ref uniform.
Yeah, there's a couple good ones I've seen.
Anyway, little off topic, let's talk about Patrick Mahomes. If he wins, is he then the GOAT?
This is a conversation I've been wanting to have with you. I've seen other people having it. Just looking at it right now, if he won this one, he would have 4 Super Bowl wins to Brady's 7. He would have 5 appearances to Brady's 10. Assuming he wins, and he would have 4 Super Bowl MVPs to Brady's 5, 2 regular season MVPs to Brady's 3. I think, obviously, the three-peat gives you a lot of weight. I believe you agree. I don't think he needs to win 7 or 8 to be considered the GOAT. I don't think it's all managed by championships. I do think the three-peat would go a long way. In my opinion, obviously trying to be as objective as possible as a Chiefs fan, I don't know if, honestly, this one would get in there. I think if I'm just trying to be objective, I think he would need one more. I think if he wins this one, gets the three-peat, and then wins another to get past Montana and Bradshaw, if he had 5 that include a three-peat, I think that would probably do it for me.
So I look at this in 2 spectrums. So I think there's a numerical Super Bowl number, right? So just like you were saying, he has to get to a certain number of Super Bowls to be considered the GOAT. Right. But I also look at it through the lens of how fast has he done this? And what's the circumstances surrounding it? So obviously three-peat, first time ever. Secondly, Tom Brady, his first 3 Super Bowls was in 02, 04, 05, and then the next one, 2015.
Yeah, the Patriots had a very long drought where they didn't win any. Now, they had the one where they lost the 2 losses to the Giants and stuff. They had some great regular seasons, but yeah, they went a long time without winning anything.
How long has Patrick Mahomes been in the league?
I believe this is his 8th year or 7th year. 7th year.
And this would be Super Bowl how many?
This would be his 4th win, but it's his 5th appearance.
Nobody's ever done it at this speed.
Absolutely not.
So if you extrapolate it out, and consider he would be there as long as, or even say Brady retired at what, 42?
43, something like that. Yeah.
Say he plays to 40. He has way more Super Bowls than Brady. If you just extrapolate it out and have the circumstances stay the same, I know he could get traded. The Chiefs won't always be the same. Andy Reid leaves. I get all that. But I'm just saying, in the same amount of time that he's done this, nobody else ever has touched that. So I think you have to look through it in both ways. GOAT of all time, I think maybe you need the numerical Super Bowl number to beat that. Like, you have to have more than Brady to beat out Brady in some ways, I think.
See, you think? I don't think it all comes, because like MJ, a lot of people consider the GOAT, the greatest of all time in basketball. Some people say LeBron. It's really those two. They do not have the most number of championships, either of them. I do not think championships is the end-all, be-all. I think it matters a lot, particularly for the quarterback, but there's a lot of circumstances. I mean, Brady's first couple championships were really defensive-led. Now, he led game-winning drives in those games. You will not hear me take anything away from Tom Brady. Seriously, I love that man. I think he is the GOAT. His longevity is something. But if it was just a Super Bowl thing, it doesn't allow for nuance. I think there's more to it. I think the fact that Mahomes has done it at the pace he has, as successful and as young as he has, the fact that Brady did it for as long as he did, went to another team, there's multiple factors. I would accept the argument of Mahomes has to beat him in Super Bowls if he didn't have the three-peat. If he gets the three-peat, to me, that's like, okay, I mean, he did something no one's ever done in NFL history.
If the metric of which we're judging by is the pace and the record time, like I was talking about, I do think he is the GOAT. Even without the Super Bowl, by the way. I think you can make an argument that he already is the GOAT at this pace.
I think you could. You could make that argument.
But there's two viewpoints of GOATs, and whether you like it or not, people look at total number of Super Bowls. That's just something that a casual football fan will look at. When the records, 50 years from now, when the record books are settled, and Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes are both in there, and Patrick Mahomes has 6, and the list of who has the most Super Bowls, Patrick Mahomes will always be under Tom Brady. So I think that people look at it that way. The casual football fan will look at it as, oh, Tom Brady's the GOAT, he has more Super Bowls. That's just going to be their argument. Now, a real true fan like us and people who analyze football on a daily basis, we know that what Patrick Mahomes has already done in this short span of time, with honestly the world on his shoulders, is incredible, and it's never been done before. So in my book, again, y'all are our arch nemesis. We cannot get past y'all in the playoffs. We've talked about that, the Bills, that is. I still think Patrick Mahomes is the greatest to ever do it.
I think without question, he is the best to ever do it. Like just sheer talent and watching, and if I could only have one guy at the end of the game ever, I would want Mahomes over Brady just because of the more athletic ability. I mean, he is a better football player than Brady. Obviously, Brady's longevity and his mental capacity and the way he got better as he aged, it seemed like, that says something. And so we don't know how long Mahomes will go. Longevity is, something that's going to come into play. The fact that Tom went to Tampa and won another one where he beat Patrick head to head, that's kind of wasn't Mahomes' fault they lost that game, but that affects it because that gave Brady 7 where it would have given him 6 and Mahomes 1 more. Then this would be a completely different conversation. I do think the three-peat is just hallowed ground. I think if he does that, that might be enough to separate him in some people's eyes. Again, as much as a Chiefs fan and Mahomes lover as I am, I would think he would need one more for me to sit up here and pound the table and say, no, he is the GOAT. But, in all likelihood, he'll get it the pace he's setting.
So if this win does happen, what would it actually mean for Patrick Mahomes?
It kind of goes into our last conversation. It honestly is hard to put into words, even for me sometimes. I mean, me and you have seen him. We've gone and seen him play live multiple times. It's just hard to... It's easy to take it for granted. And I know so many people are tired of Chiefs fatigue because if you look at AFC champions, like the past 20 plus years, almost every year it's the Patriots or the Chiefs. There's very few other teams that ever even got through. So I understand it. It gets old. People get frustrated with it. But we don't...
Hey, look, we lived through the BCS days of college football and Alabama fans,
Yes.
We understand it. We are Alabama fans. We were always there. And for years, 17 years, we were at least in the hunt every single year, most of the time playing in the national championship. So
right,
we get it. We hear it from our friends. And, you being a Chiefs fan, you hear it from everybody as well.
Of course. And it's important to try and really put it in perspective of history and just what we're seeing. It is unprecedented. Even Brady's career, it was the longevity. He didn't start like this. He had the first couple years, they were great and had really good defenses. And then they kind of, like you said, they whittled off a year. They had like a 10-year span where they didn't win any. If Mahomes wins Super Bowl MVP, he would have 4. And that would trail only Brady's 5. Brady has 5 Super Bowl MVPs. If Mahomes won this one, he would have 4. One of only 3 players with 3 or more. Brady, wow. Montana, and Mahomes. Eli Manning, Bradshaw, Bart Starr, they all have 2. So that puts him in rarefied air. It's also the fact that it's always the AFC Championship game. The 2 years he didn't make it to the Super Bowl, one was an AFC Championship loss to New England in overtime where he didn't get the ball, and the other was the AFC Championship loss to Cincinnati where I've heard some people say maybe he was concussed in that game. It's the only bad half of football he's played in the playoffs. The second half of that Cincinnati game, he was bad. He was objectively bad.
Started with the Tyreek Hill pass.
Before the half, that's right. But other than that, he has been flawless in the playoffs. And you look at his playoff numbers, it is the LeBron thing. And I think even Brady to another level, because it's the fact that he, as you say all the time, just elevates these guys to the top. One of the things that makes the Chiefs unique is it's not a bunch of superstars. It's Juju Smith-Schuster and Kareem Hunt and DeAndre Hopkins and a rookie that's coming into his own. It's really amazing. Andy Reid can't be understated. I know we're going to talk about him, but a win would put Patrick Mahomes next to Brady on Mount Rushmore.
What's so crazy to me is you talk about these names: Tom Brady, Joe Montana, Bart Starr, Eli Manning, Terry Bradshaw. All these guys that you talk about, you usually start talking about their greatness toward the end of their career. Patrick Mahomes is in the prime of his career, and he's already on Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, he's 29.
That's insane. So if you want to talk about time, who else has done that? Yeah, we knew Brady about midway through, probably after that third Super Bowl. We knew he was going to be on Mount Rushmore. But aside from that, it took Bradshaw his whole life, his whole career. It took Bart Starr. It took Eli. It took them their entire career for them to be in conversation about being the greatest of all time. For Patrick Mahomes to do it before 30, it's just mind-blowing, dude. You can't put into words how epic that is.